We had over 300 women at this social, right? Not nearly enough for the number of men who are there. Excuse me, not nearly enough men for the number of women who are there. So a lot of these women are going to come right back and keep trying.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for joining us on our Monday night webcast. And we are joined by the lovely, as always, Dina.
Thank
Dina,
you.
thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, guys.
The goddess of all things international dating. She will share her insights, thoughts,
Yes.
concerns, anything that she has with you guys. Better to hear from a woman than a guy, I always say, since, you know, the women are the ones that we're going after and we're interested in. Yet so many guys get out there and pontificate forever about what women want and don't want. Why not just get it from the woman? So she will be with her tonight. And guys, you can ask Dina any questions that you want. Dina, tell the guys, for those out there that don't know you, you've been doing this now live with us for quite a few weeks here, but still some of the guys may not be familiar with you. Tell them a little bit about who you are, where you came from, and why you are so qualified as the international goddess.
Yes, my name is Dina, and I met my husband through a foreign affair 13 years ago. Oh my gosh, it was like yesterday. So he went to St. Petersburg to meet another girl, and so it happened that I was like his plan B, but everything works out very good.
Dina, you were
so
never plan B. You're not one's plan B, okay? It was fate that he was going to meet you. He went, he was writing to someone, like I tell you, you don't have to do, but he was writing and writing and writing, and he got there and he met her, but the chemistry just wasn't there. And then he knew, though, he had you in his back pocket, so to speak.
Yes.
He had a picture of you, at least, in his back pocket.
Yes,
right?
actually, yeah, don't get me wrong. He had my picture right away with him. So he showed my picture at the agency, and they called me and invite me to introduction, one-on-one introduction. So, and we met at hotel, in beautiful hotel in St. Petersburg, and we've been talking for 3 hours with interpreter. So, because my English wasn't very good. So, and I came here, and like 10 years ago, I started working for a foreign affair. You guys maybe know me for phone translation service. And now, like for 6 months, I've been working here at the office. I'm a matchmaker now, so I'm helping you guys. Maybe I helped somebody already.
You have. You've helped,
Yes.
well, even the whole time you were helping with the communication, with the phone calls and things like that, you've helped couples come together and marry, and that's so cool.
Yes.
It's very
I
rewarding,
hope.
isn't it?
Yes, yes.
It's a great thing. So, guys, Dina is very well qualified to answer any of your questions. If you have questions or concerns about the women themselves, what are they thinking? I know a lot of you guys do, right? You're like, okay, I think I might want to go to the Ukraine, or I want to go to Colombia. And I'll tell you guys, if it's not just Eastern Europe, if it's Asia, if it's Latin America, Dina can still tell you the basics about what women are thinking, because women are still women, no matter where you go in the world, right? And they do have different concerns, different feelings, different thoughts, and it's nice to get it from a woman. Believe me, I met a wonderful woman in Russia myself, and we've been together for 22 years, and every day I learn something new from Tanya. And you know, it's amazing. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So you got to get yourself out there too and have that experience. All right. So before we get started with your questions in our poll question day, Dina, what's our poll question? What are we doing here today?
So, what's better, fiancé visa or spousal visa? So, K1 visa or spousal visa?
All right, guys, and just if some of you may not know what a fiancé visa is or spousal visa, why don't you tell them about the difference between the two?
So, fiancé visa, actually, you go there, you find a girl, and you're starting a process called fiancé visa. Your girl will come to USA, and she will have 90 days to decide if she want to stay with you or she want to go back home. So spousal visa, you'll get married in Ukraine or wherever you go, Asia, wherever you go, Latin America, yes. You will marry her there, and then you will start process called spousal visa. I think it's a wife visa, called wife visa.
Wife visa,
Yeah.
spousal visa, yeah.
So, and you guys, and she'll just come here, and you'll be wife already here. So,
So there's pros and cons to both, right?
Yes.
And you know, guys, I've been doing this now for 24 years. I am a firm believer in the K1 visa, the fiancé visa, because for a few reasons. Number one, I think that it's faster process. It gets her here quicker than a spousal visa. Spousal visa, believe it or not, even though you marry her there, wherever there may be, it takes her longer to get here. And number two, and more importantly, is I think by doing the K1 visa, and you did the K1 or the
Yes,
spousal?
we did K1, yeah.
By doing the K1 visa, it gives the woman the opportunity to see what life is really going to be like in the country she's going to, right? In the man's house that she's going to, in his city, meeting his friends, his family, all of that, to make sure she's going to be comfortable with it. Because if she comes over as a wife and things don't go well the first 30 days or 90 days, you may be looking at a divorce compared to a fiance visa that did not go through to marriage, right? Big difference. And so I think it's great to give her that opportunity. Did you take advantage of that 90 days? I mean, what did you think?
No, I didn't have a chance, so I was, I was so sure, and we both were so sure. So we had a wedding like maybe next month.
Did you really? So
yeah,
you were
we
only here
planned.
about 30 days or so and you got
yeah.
married? But you
Yeah.
guys did it so fast. I mean,
We did,
you met
yeah.
and you were engaged within like 2 days, right?
Yes.
And then you got
It was
here,
so fast.
and then you were married within 30 days.
And the K1 visa was really fast, like 7 months. It was really fast.
Yeah.
Usually probably a year or sometime. I heard 7 to a year months, so 7 months to a year it will take. So I think fiancé visa is better for both parties because you can think too. You have time to think about you want to marry this girl or not. So
Right.
and the girl will think so too.
Yeah, because sometimes things change when she
Yes.
gets here. Expectations might have been out of whack. Whatever the reason is, I think it's good that she does have the ability to see what life is going to be like here before you get married. And the fiancé visas right now are running about 7 to 9 months, it seems like, from what I'm hearing from the immigration people. So you get,
7 months.
maybe not quite a year, but 7 to 9 months, I think, is what you can expect right now for a visa. For at a time there, about, I'd say 3 or 4 years ago, it was down to about 4 months. It was really fast. And then the administration changed and they closed some of the processing centers, so the wait time has gone up a little bit. Nothing much else has changed about the process, but it just takes a little bit longer than it used to. Okay, so we're gonna get to some of your questions and everything. Guys, keep asking that. We're gonna be with you here in just a minute and get to that, but before we do that, I wanna give a shout out to all those guys that are in the Ukraine right now. Congratulations. We have a huge group. We sold it out actually in Kiev and Kharkov right now. They just did their social last night in Kharkov. I heard it was fantastic. Hundreds of women in attendance. And guys, the footage you're seeing here, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken over there, guys, this is the Kharkov, new footage from Kharkov in July. So this is brand new footage, never before seen, from the July tour that we just finished here a couple months ago in Kharkov, Ukraine. So really, really cool to see. And we just did the social in the same environment for the September tour last night, and I heard it was fantastic. I just talked to Joe, who you guys know who he is, right? The cop, that Phoenix police officer that has led many of our tours over the years. So he's there right now with the tour, and saying that, we have a lot of guys there and they're all doing really well. So I love to hear that, obviously. So shout out to all you guys that are no longer keyboard Romeos, but you are actually meeting the women in person. That's such a wonderful thing, right? I mean, would you rather just write letters forever, or would you rather meet in person,
No,
Dina?
no, of course I would like to meet in person, and I don't need any letters. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what you need to do. That's what we try to get you guys to do. Some of you guys will take our advice. Some of you won't. That's up to you. But we're going to constantly push that. Matter of fact, I was just in New York on Saturday, and shout out to all the guys that were at that seminar. That was so cool, just like the one we did the week before in Vegas. I mean, you guys were there, you were asking questions, we were all kind of talking with each other. And again, the thing was supposed to end at 3, and I don't think I got out of there until closer to 5 because no one wanted to leave. And that's so cool. Those seminars are very, very helpful. We had some guys that have been to multiple seminars. We had some guys that were there in New York that flew in from like North Carolina and other places. So my hat's off to you guys. If I had a hat, I never really wore a hat. I need a hat. I think I look good in a hat. But anyways, if I had a hat, my hat would be off to you for coming and doing that, because it's great for us to get to meet you. You get to meet us. We get to talk about all things international dating, especially the group tours, how it works. We have wonderful food, and you get some really cool seminar-only discounts for those guys that attended and did sign up, and quite a few of the guys that were there on Saturday signed up and are now on their road to being one of the guys in this video right here, being there. So we do have some seminars coming up in early October. I think it's October 5th and 6th in, excuse me, Florida. I believe it's Tampa Bay and Miami. So I will be there in both Tampa Bay and Miami for those dates. So guys, please come, because we will have other guys, I'm sure, that have been on our tours before. In Vegas, we had guys who were married here recently that were at the tour. In New York, we had guys that had been with us before that were there talking about their experiences, sharing it with the other guys. It's fantastic. It is very helpful. Come do it. All right. We got to get into some of your questions. We're going to talk more about the fiancé visa process tonight. That's going to be a little bit of our theme tonight, because, that gentleman right there was at the New York seminar, David. Wonderful guy, telling the guys how great it was, helping the guys make that decision to go. David's amazing. I never see that man on tour without a smile on his face. Always a smile. And guess what, guys? When you're like that, the women like that, right? If you were at a social event and you saw a guy smiling, happy, talking, and you saw a guy with a frown on his face and looking upset, who would you go towards?
Of course, the smiling person.
The smiling person.
There's everybody smiling there. Look at all girls.
Most of the people are smiling. Every once in a while, you'll get someone who will be upset about something. I know. Why wouldn't you
Beautiful
smile?
place, beautiful girls. Oh my God.
I know. It's kind of hard not to, but every once in a while, we can be our own worst enemy, right, guys? And we can sabotage ourselves, right, guys? We can do that. I've seen it. I've been doing this for 24 years, and I sabotage myself from time to time in different arenas, right? Maybe it's not the dating, maybe it's something else, because everything that happens to us really starts between the ears. It's in our mind, and we make our own reality, guys. You know that, right? And so it's important that you have that positive attitude when you're out there and you're thinking positively. Then positive things will happen. If you're thinking negatively, guess what? Negative things will happen. And that's true in anything in life, right? It really is. If you look at the people that are really successful, they usually seem happy, and they seem, confident and optimistic. And then you have to ask yourself, is that the chicken or the egg? Are they happy because they're successful, or are they successful because they're happy? And I've known a lot of these guys that are very successful, and I knew them before they had two pennies to rub together. Guess what? They were happy and optimistic before they had success, but they got success because of that. So when you're out there, be happy, be smiling, and let things happen, because when you're on these dates, when you're at these socials, when you're on the tour, good, bad, and ugly will happen. And you're going to get it all, and you should expect to get it all. This is not Disneyland for men, like I always say. We're not paying the women to be nice to you. That's not how this works. It's real dating with real people. When you met AJ, they didn't say,
Absolutely.
Dina, you have to be nice to this guy. You have to do, no. You just said, Dina, this gentleman would like to meet you. Would you like to meet him? You went out, and it could have been a great date. It could have been a bad day, right?
Absolutely.
And it turned out to be a great date. And now you're sitting next to me, so I'm really happy it was a great date. But,
Me too.
yeah. But you never know what's going to happen, guys. You got to make it happen for yourself. All right, we're going to get into some of your questions now. Sean from Ohio. He says, when you buy a gift for the woman you are corresponding with, how long does it take for the gift to arrive at its destination? It just depends on how soon we can get it to the woman, right? I mean, it's all done by email and everything, so our office gets your order the next day, and they'll call the woman if she's available to receive it the next day, and we can get it the next day. If it's not something special we have to go try and find, then she'll probably get it that next day or the day after. If she's out of the city maybe for a couple days, then it might take a couple days longer. But did AJ send you gifts when you were over there?
No, so, no.
I'm going to get AJ in trouble. Sorry about that. Not everybody. You said no too fast. You
He brought me gifts.
He brought you gifts.
He brought me
there
gifts
you
when
go.
he came like second, third, and fourth time.
He brought
So,
you things.
Yeah,
and
he
that's
brought
what you're supposed to do.
everything.
Good job, AJ.
Yep.
AJ's a great guy, by the way, I want to say. So that's wonderful. All right. All right, let's keep going here. Dave from Rochester, he's answering our poll question, and he's saying the K1 visa in case she does not like it here. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Good. I like that. All right. Okay, another different David, and he's saying, I would go with the K1 visa. It takes much less time to receive it, plus you have the benefit of allowing the lady to live here for 3 months prior to getting married. long enough for her to decide whether or not she feels she can adapt to our strange American culture. David, you bring up a good point there. Strange American culture. Everyone out there thinks that this is just so easy to adapt to, and every woman in the world just is dying to come here to America, and they should get down on their knees and be happy if you, pick them, and they're so lucky, like winning the lottery. It's not like that, right? And our country is a little bit different. It takes women time to adapt to this. There's some wonderful Filipino women that work here, and they tell me all the time that we Americans are crazy for our work ethic, that we work all the time. Back in the Philippines, they would take longer tea breaks at work, and they would have more social breaks. Probably even in Russia it was like that. Wasn't it a little bit different? Or was it closer like this? Was it closer like this with the work ethic?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
But, in some of the other places that we go, Latin America, Asia, it's a little bit of a different society, a little bit of a different culture. And so you're right, David. For them to get used to this culture, was it hard, Dina, for you to get used to it? Or?
Not really.
No?
Not really. So we had a lot from America now in Russia, in Ukraine. So restaurants like similar, couple similar restaurants, food like a fast food, you guys brought to our countries. So that's food. I don't think it will be a lot of shock, but wasn't hard for me.
But the food was the biggest thing that you had to get used to here.
Yes, just the portion, how big is that here? So that was my shock. But tastes good. I just cannot eat so much, but tastes still good.
Do you like Mexican food? Because you live in Phoenix.
Now, yes.
Now you do?
Now, yes.
But it took a while to get used to?
Yes.
Okay.
Just you can find the good dishes in Mexican food. So
I have to make you some chimichangas from scratch one of these days. I will do that.
Yeah.
I can do that. I make a mean
like
chimichanga.
Really?
I only do it about once every 10 years, but when I get in the mood, I'll go buy all the ingredients. My father used to run Mexican food restaurants here. He has all his recipes still, so I can make a really mean chimichanga. But
come over, guys.
Yes. We'll have a big party, and we'll do margaritas, chimichangas, and deep fried ice cream. That's the dessert, which my father, by the way, invented. Now, no one believes me on this. I'm not going to go into detail, but yes, deep fried ice cream. Senor Tizole, way back when.
Wow, cannot wait.
I know. Whenever I go to a restaurant, I tell them that, and they look at me like I'm crazy. I said, you have to give that to me for free because my father invented that, and they think I'm nuts. Joe says, hi, Dina and John. Nice to see you, and I appreciate all you do. I'm thinking of doing my medical residency and specialization in the Ukraine. Wow, that's interesting. So that means learning Russian and living there for 4 years. I hope to work as a medical missionary. Cool. So from your experience, what potential problems do you think I may have with a Ukrainian wife in Christian mission work in places like Africa? FYI, I am American. Well, that's interesting. What do you think
for
about that?
Joe, I think, of course, he needs a spouse visa. K1, why he needs a K1?
If he's going to be going all over, not coming
yes,
back,
I think that's perfect for him. Of course, you should find a girl who would. You can ask a girl if she would like to travel with possibility to live in Africa, right? Of course, you have to talk to your girl and ask her if she would like to do that.
There's probably going to be a percentage that are going to be opposed to it, right? That they don't want to live in Africa for whatever reason. There's going to be some that are going to be fine with it, right?
At least travel if she likes to travel, because she probably will want to go there to see,
Depends on where you're going in Africa. There's some wonderful, and then if you're going to a very deserted area in Africa, then that might be a little bit more difficult for some of the women. If you're going to some place like, I don't know, Johannesburg, South Africa, that can work really well maybe for someone. Or if you're going to, I don't know. I don't know enough about Africa to even tell you, but all I know is same in the United States. If you're coming to a very rural area in the United States, some women may be a little bit shy of going to those places, whereas if you go to New York City, most women are more open to that. So it just kind of depends on that. But I think it's so cool that you're going to do your residency in the Ukraine. You have to learn the language and everything. You're a smarter guy than I am, obviously, because I still can't even speak the language, and you're doing medical school. So I think it's fantastic, Joe. And I think, one of the biggest problems you're going to have living there for 4 years is all the wonderful, beautiful women you're going to be meeting all the time. So you have to figure out, what you're going to do about that. But I'm sure we can help you with that as well. And if you do meet someone that you really like, I'm sure she's going to be happy to marry you and stay in the Ukraine for those
Yes,
years,
I
right?
think so. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not like she has to rush over to the United
Yeah.
States. And so she doesn't have to leave her family, doesn't have to leave her friends, her life that she knows it. And so that's not an issue or a problem at all. It's actually a plus. So I think you're going to be just fine, Joe, and you're going to have a lot of opportunity. If you ever need any advice or help from us, let me know. I can put you in touch with some of our staff over there, so they might be able to put you in touch with people that might help you get where you need to be if you need anything. All right. Joe wants to know, realistically, how long will it take a lady to learn good English if she is a beginner now? That is a perfect question for Dina.
Yes,
since she
I was
in
in that
situation.
position. Yes. So yes, it's not a strange language for us. English we're learning in school, college, university, wherever we can. But they don't teach us how to speak. We just can read. We can think, but we cannot talk because they don't teach us how to talk. So we don't have practice. So it's not a strange language. I think so. And I didn't speak. I speak a little bit English. Yes, I went to classes for probably months or so there in Russia, in St. Petersburg, but it didn't work very well because I didn't have nobody to talk. I mean, like face to face. And when I come here, it probably took me a year to speak pretty good English. So because I had a motivation, I had to speak English. I watched only movies on English, and I talk English. I try hard. I learn myself. So I think a year probably.
You are immersed in it when you come here. You have to learn, right? I mean,
Yes,
you don't have a
yes, and you
choice.
have a good motivation. You have no choice. It's all help, and
Yeah.
everybody speak English to you. So a lot of practice.
So what was it like at the beginning for you, Dina, when you and AJ, say the first couple months, would have to communicate? How did you do that?
So we write letters to each other.
Really?
Yes. So yes, on our private emails. Yes, because I can write.
No, I mean when
I
you were
can-
living together, when you were here.
Oh, here.
How did you communicate with each
here.
other?
No,
Yes,
we didn't
yes.
write letters.
I was like, really? That's interesting. Well, maybe you could write out
Write
your
a
thoughts
note.
better. Yeah, then you could say it. But okay, so how did you communicate here?
I don't remember actually. It was so much going on. Somehow, I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Somehow, so I had a baby like in a year already. So I was busy. So we had a wedding, then I had a baby. So just was busy, and somehow I don't know. So I try hard.
All right, so guys, the communication thing, yeah, it could be an issue, right? Because you're going to a foreign country and not the whole world speaks English, even though we think they should. I understand that, but they don't. They have their own languages. But that can be overcome. It really can. If you find the right woman, she can learn English. She may not be able to learn other traits that you desire, but she can learn English. And you can learn parts of her language. Because you're probably smarter than I am, because I still haven't been able to do it really well. But it's because I was spoiled, because Tanya knew the language and it wasn't really a great need, and all my staff always speaks English. But I really wish I could speak Russian, even Spanish. I can do a little bit of Spanish, but Russian would be wonderful. It's such my daughter is trying to learn now. She is half Russian, obviously, and she's a Russian citizen, but she's lived here her whole life, and she really doesn't speak it. She can understand it somewhat, but she really wants to start speaking it more and more, and I think that's great. So she's learning it. My son can speak it because originally he was brought up there until he was about 4, and so he had it younger, so he can speak it.
So, but I just want to say we never had trouble in communication. I mean, it wasn't an issue. We had other issues, but not in language. So I guess I did good, I guess.
Not good.
So, yes, and it wasn't really hard. I don't remember it was hard for me because it was just simple thing around the house, like stuff like that. So, and it was a translator. So, and now even better because so much gadgets you have.
Oh my
we have
gosh.
now. So
Google
you can
Translate.
probably
this
Google
translate,
and you
everything.
hey Siri, translate me that and that. So
Right. It's a lot easier.
much easier now.
But guys, let me tell you, if the language isn't totally there and you make a mistake, always blame it on the language. No, dear, you misunderstood me. That worked for me for the first year or so. I got out of a few jams because of that. Without Tanya, there's no way. Okay. Let's see. Hi guys, it's Alan from Australia. So I love you, Australia. We got a lot of you guys from Australia on the tour right now in the Ukraine. So congrats to all you guys down under. I think it's wonderful that you're on the tour right now. I wonder if they'd mind that term down under. Hopefully that's not like derogatory. Is that derogatory, you think, back there? Somebody should Google that. Hopefully I'm not being derogatory. But anyways, you know, another shrimp on the Barbie, all those kind of stereotypical things about Australia. Anyways, let me know, Alan, if that's, if you get a chance, type that back in. Let me know if that's derogatory when we say up here, down under. I don't think it is. Okay, hi guys, it's Alan from Australia. So my question for you guys today is, I hear and see a lot of the women talk about maturity in men. What does that really mean for Ukrainian women? Do they think it's an age thing, or can they see a younger individual, possibly younger than them, being mature? I only ask as I think I am mature, but it just keeps coming up. Thanks. So, Dina, what do you think when the women are saying, I want someone who's mature? Is it just mature means only chronological age, or is it more of a behavior or mindset of the man?
I think age.
Really?
I just think age, yes. And a girl wise and more mature, yes. I think age. For me, age, and for other girls, like a little bit older, you know.
So
guys.
if you were, say the woman is 35 and the guy is like 32, but he thinks he's mature, the woman's not going to think he's very mature because he's just not old enough, right? Is that what she's thinking?
No, need to talk to the guy and maybe she can decide, but look at him and he's 32, probably not. But if she talk to him, maybe how he's acting, how he's talking, what, you know, what is his like dreams, I don't know. That's just all about maturity. But yes, the older guys are more mature. Yes.
You know, I hear that a lot too.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for a long time, and usually no matter how old the woman is, even if she's 50, she wants a guy who's 60 because she thinks that the 50-year-old guys are not mature enough. That's just how they think. And in a way, it's good for us, right? For most of the guys, because a lot of guys are looking for younger women, possibly. But if you are looking for a woman who's a little bit older than you, it may be a little more difficult, but maybe not. It just depends, right? It depends.
Yes.
You have to talk.
Yes.
All right. Ernest. Hey, John and Dina, my answer is spousal visa. Why, you ask? Why not? I like this, Ernest. You're great. First of all, she's going to wait for you when you go back home and don't show her you're serious about a life together. How will that work? By that time, another tour will go through that social area, and someone who will sweep her off to a life together is going to make you wish you didn't hesitate on diving into the deep end instead of splashing around the shallow end, aka still Singleville. Very interesting, Ernest. This is interesting. I like the way you're answering this. I don't know if I agree with it or not, but I like the way you're thinking and answering this. Also, why waste the money on something like the K1 when you could spend it on the honeymoon? But what do I know? Oh, wait, that's right. I know what I want. Very interesting, Ernest. Okay, so let me say a couple things about that. First of all, when you get to the money part, you're still going to spend money doing the spousal visa, just like you would the K1 visa. It's not like you just marry her and you get on an airplane and show the marriage certificate at the border when you come to the United States. It doesn't work that way. You still have to kind of go through the same process, even a little bit more paperwork than you would with a K1 visa. And the time frame is going to take a little bit longer because of that. So, and the cost is going to be about the same, maybe even a little bit more to do a spousal visa compared to a K1 visa. That's number one. Number two, I don't agree about your point about, well, I want to marry her right away before another tour comes into town and she gets swept off her feet by someone else. If she gets swept off her feet by someone else after she met you, you're doing a K1 visa, and she can't wait for the K1 visa because she fell in love with someone else on the next tour. First of all, what the heck is she doing on the next tour if she's already engaged to you, right? That's a big red flag, because if she go into a social, but she's engaged to you, is that a problem?
Right.
That's probably a problem, right, Dina?
Yeah, I don't think spouse visa will stop her from doing other stuff.
Yeah, if the love, if the intent, if all that isn't there with a K1 visa after you guys meet, then you can't just say, well, you're locked up now because we're married and we did a spousal visa. Doesn't work that way in life. And so I don't agree with that thinking. When I met Tanya, I knew from day one, that night when we met at that social, that was it for me. Now, I had to convince her, and that took me a while, okay? But I knew that was it for me. But I did convince her, and I felt very strong when I left, even the first time, that we were going to be together. Was I worried about her being someone else? Yeah, there's always that in the back of your mind. You are. But then I said, well, if that happens, then it probably wasn't meant to be. and I'm not going to freak out over it. You know, I'm just going to keep trying to build a relationship in a healthy, natural way, and that's what we did. Well, pretty much until I almost burned down the restaurant or the hotel. Well, I made the restaurant in the hotel and almost burned. That wasn't very healthy, but I'm still banned from that hotel. You realize that was like years ago. They won't let me in. They have pictures of me. Like, no, don't let this person in. He almost burned down the hotel. So anyways, so Ernest, for those reasons, I would not agree with what you said there. I know you. You're a great guy, and you're going to do well. But we have a kind of a disagreement there. All right, let's keep going here. Melvin says, I prefer the K1. I need to know how life is going to be like living with the girl before deciding for sure whether or not to go through with the marriage. And I paid for the October Peru tour today. Can't wait to return. Woohoo!
Yay.
All right, Melvin. Yeah, so we finally got a little bit of a machine,
Yeah.
although it's a little weak. I think we went the lower version of the applause machine thing. Did we lower version? Yeah, there's a little lower version. We're going to go for the higher end version, but the guy in charge really cheap. So hard to get the money out of them at corporate, but we're going to try. But anyways, Melvin, congratulations. That's fantastic. I'm glad that you are on your way again back to Peru. And yeah, you know, although again, just like I talked about what Ernest talked about, with the spousal visa, I'll comment on this. You need to know what life's going to be like living with a woman before deciding for sure whether or not to go through the marriage. And I get that. But I'll tell you what, if you're going to do a K1 visa with someone, you got to be as sure as possible that this is the one. The K1 visa isn't like an extension of dating. It's like both of you have made that commitment. We are going to be moving forward. This is going to work. When Tanya came over, it wasn't like a trial period. She came over with China, with all kinds of stuff. She had like 6 big old boxes, right, that came over with her, and that was it. She was coming, and she wasn't going back, okay, no matter what. Which was great, because that's what I wanted too, right? And when you came over with a mindset of we're getting married. It wasn't like a trial basis for you, was it?
No, we decided there, so it was like we had the dates for a wedding, so
Yeah, you were already committed.
yeah.
So, and I get it, and I say it's great for her to come over so everybody can see and make sure it's going to be right. So what I mean by that is you should already know together that yes, this is what you want to get married, but I still think it's good for her to come over and for you to do what you're talking about and make sure everything's good, but don't bring her over just to see if everything's going to be good. You should already understand in your mind that it's going to be good, this is what we want, and then if things don't work out because expectations were out of whack, and when you guys are together dealing with what I affectionately refer to as the dirty underwear stage of the relationship, which you're not out going to restaurants every day. You're not out just having fun. You know, you're not out with this beautiful scenery here with the beautiful lights and everything's all nice and glamorous and great. You're dealing with having to make the bed, having to do the laundry, having to go to work in the morning, having to deal with everyday life. And if things are still going well during that time, then that's great. But you got to keep that in mind that this K1 visa is kind of a big deal. It's for people who really want to move forward with each other as much as they know, at least. All right. But congratulations, Melvin, on going back over again. I think that's fantastic. Ernest is coming back saying, then again, the K1 visa will be faster, so might go with that to start life so much faster. I agree with that too, Ernest. I think it's better. All right. And guys, this footage you're seeing tonight, you know, kudos to our video team back there, Kirk and all his help. They do an amazing job on this with all the staff, and we have staff from all over that help produce this stuff. But what you're seeing here, you know, isn't easy. It takes them hours and hours of work to put this together and get it up as quickly as they do. But it gives you an idea of what life is going to be like when you go over there, right? You can see how these socials work. You can see the number of women and the men at the tables, right? Look at that, guys. This is what you're looking at when you go over there, and it's fantastic, right? You get the opportunity to be at all these different tables. And look, you're not going to be interested in every single woman in that establishment when you're there that evening at the social, right? And every man's not going to be, you know, interested in every woman. Every woman's not going to be interested in every man, right? You've been to these socials, right?
Yes.
But if you can be just a few, right? If the man could be there and find 2 or 3 women he's interested in, and if the woman can find a few men she's interested in, that's how it works, right?
Yeah, so you go there, you just talk to the guys, and then you go, next day you go on a date with somebody who you like or somebody invite you. So yes,
Is it hard
like,
for a man to figure out who likes him at a social, Dina?
Yeah,
Is it
that's
difficult?
too hard. Look at the girls; it's just so difficult. I think it's difficult.
Well, no.
Yeah.
So if I'm a man, I'm going to the social, right? How am I going to know if a woman likes me or not? How do you think I'm going to be able
Oh,
to
you will know, of course. Well, you don't know.
You can tell?
Of course, she'll smile, she'll
It's the
talk,
body
maybe
language.
dance. Yes, of course. That you will know. Don't even doubt about that.
You know, one thing, when you're at socials like this, the women tend to be a little more aggressive than they normally are. They tend to come up to you more than they normally would because it's just a different environment, right? And they
Yeah.
realize there's so many women that if they aren't a little more aggressive and they don't come up to you, they might miss the opportunity forever, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So Joe says, would not the lady's family want to celebrate a wedding in her country with her family and friends, maybe in the USA also with a K-1 visa? Normal for celebrations in both countries. You know, Joe, we talk about that a lot, and that's a good question. So let's say you're going to do a K-1 visa for someone from Colombia, let's say, right? And their family, it's a big family in Colombia, and they want to be able to celebrate that. There's a couple different things you can do. You can actually have a kind of a mock wedding, right? Where you go through all the steps, she gets the dress, you do everything, but you don't make it legal. You don't go get the license. It's not illegal. It's just going through the party part of it and all the pomp and circumstance of a wedding without the legality of the wedding. And then you do the K-1 visa, come here, and then you either have a nice wedding here for his family, right? Or you just go to the courthouse and just do it really quick so it's legal. Or you do the K-1 visa, you get married here, and then when she's able to travel easily, no problem to go back, then you guys go back and you do another wedding there. You could do even another legal wedding there. There's Joe. He's the one that's leading our tour right now as we speak in the Ukraine, so that's fantastic. All right. Alrighty then. Let's keep going. No, Bud is not here tonight with the show. Bud has moved on to other things, and we wish him the very best. He's been with us for many, many years, and whatever he does, he's going to be very, very successful. Of course, we miss him. He's a great guy, but he's moving on just like everyone does, you know, from time to time. We look, many of our employees, you've been with us for 10 years.
Yes.
We've had many of our other employees have been with us for longer than Bud, actually, over 20 years. That says something about the company, I think, and so whenever someone goes off and decides that it's time to do other things, then it's always a sad day. But in a way, it's not, because you want that person to be happy and fulfill the things that they want to do too. So, all right, let's talk with Rod. Rod says, "Yeah, I'd rather meet in person too." I think he's talking about whether or not he's doing the letters, like you said.
Or not? Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta meet in
Yes.
person. I mean, unless look, if you're one of those guys that just wants to write letters forever, be that keyboard Romeo, or you get on some of these other sites where you're chatting, then you go to work the next day and tell all the guys you got this hot Russian girlfriend, right? Oh, I got this this one beautiful woman, she's my hot Russian girlfriend. But you never met her. She's not really your girlfriend, guys, right? You don't really have a relationship with anybody until you meet. You have to go and meet. And guys, I'm telling you, we're one of the few companies that will actually tell you that. There's companies out there whose ideal business model is when the man and the woman never meet. Think about that, guys. That's not us, or else we wouldn't be sitting here doing these shows, doing these seminars all around the country and the world, trying to get you to actually get away from the virtual world of the computer and get into the real offline world of meeting in person. Because a lot of what a foreign affair does is offline matchmaking. It's not online. You may see the profiles online, right? You may even do some correspondence, but when you go and you're there and you're doing that, that is offline. That's real life meeting, right? That's matchmaking. That's what we do, right? It's not just this online swipe left, swipe right stuff. That's not what we're doing. We're actually going and arranging these events, making these things happen. And guys, it's a lot of work. I give our staff an enormous amount of kudos and respect for all the work they have to put into making this happen, because this looks so easy, right? When you go to these socials, it's just all there, right? You walk in and the food's there, the champagne, everything's organized, they know who you are, and but Dina, from being with our company, it takes a lot of work to make that happen, to make it look that easy.
Yes.
And it's not, it's a wonderful thing, but it's offline matchmaking, and that's what we do. All right, let's keep going here. David says, with a lot of due respect, Mr. John, women are not the same everywhere. Question, do Chinese women prefer European men? Well, David, thank you for that question, and I agree. Women are not the same everywhere. There are differences in culture, and people are not the same everywhere in general, and how you're brought up is different.
I think that the woman is not same everywhere, but we want the same thing. You know, nice guy, nice mature guy with,
Yeah.
to build family with, relationship, serious relationship.
I agree with that.
Family.
Yeah, I think so.
To, you know,
Women in
raise
general
kids.
seek security, they seek safety, they seek people that are going to be loyal and mature and
Yes.
a leader in the family, those kind of things. That's what women look for. Men tend to look a little more for beauty and things like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how it works pretty, and that's pretty much standard no matter where you go, you're going to see that. Now, do Chinese women prefer European men? Over what? Over American men? I'm not sure. You know, that's a question that I would have to ask our Chinese staff, because to tell you the truth, I'm really not sure about that. I know that they're totally open to European men, but do they prefer European men over, say, American men? I really couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but if you send that question to me, I can have our Chinese staff look into that and see what they say. All right, Ernest says, now that I think about it, spousal visa allows, we keep going back and forth, Ernest, about this, allows her family to be present and witness their daughter or sister or grandchild get married. And the K1 allows the opposite for you and your family. So, now that I think about it, tough choice. I don't mind. I didn't mean to make your evening so difficult, Ernest. I don't know if live streaming would be enough for me to see my child's big day and her be giving her away. Real tough choice. That's why talking to her and her family is real important. You're right. You know, this is real life, Ernest, right? And when you start thinking about these things, and now you're bringing up all these points about what goes into it, and you're right. There's no, you know, black or white answer here. It's a gray area. But given everything, I still think the fiancé visa is probably the best way to go. I really do. Philip says, hello from Australia. Hello, Philip. How are you? Bob says, if you plan to live in the U.S., a spousal visa, if you are living in her country. Okay, and that's what you just said, Dina. If you're not going to come back, you just do a spousal visa.
Yeah, I think it makes sense more spousal visa if you want to live there with her.
Yeah. He wants to know what the weather is like in the Ukraine in November and how dressed up you need to be on the dates after the social, you know. And, of course, great shows. Thank you, Bob. So, weather in November in the Ukraine?
Well, depend what city. If it's Kyiv, it's cold, could be snow and frozen. But in Odessa, I think it's much warmer there, and it's still not really summer already.
Yeah, a little bit warm,
Maybe
but still cold. Odessa gets pretty cold too. So I would say, yeah, November. You may see some snow, like Dina says. I think that's true, but I think it's kind of pretty close to New York weather, right?
Yeah, around 50 degrees, I think.
Yeah, somewhere in that area. Not too bad. Don't be afraid of the weather, guys. Who cares about the weather? You're not going for the weather. You're going to meet the women. You know, it could be a snowstorm. I don't care. Get over there and meet the women. I was there in February. If I could be there in February, guys, and I'm from Phoenix, I'm a wimp, right? And I was there in February, and there was snow on the ground all over, and we went and did wonderful things. When I first met Tanya, and I went to visit her the first time in Russia, coming from Phoenix, I went and I researched and I got long john underwear, and I got boots, big boots, and I got this big coat, and I got off the plane, and she took one look at me and she laughed at me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, I'm getting ready for it's cold out there. Are you kidding me? She's like, "You can't wear that. You look like an idiot." And she made me take off the coat. And she got me this like black kind of like, I don't know, this little leather type coat, which was hardly warm at all, but I had to wear that. Then she made me take off the long underwear because she said that was ridiculous. Wouldn't let me wear the long underwear, Dina. She wouldn't. Then she made me take off the boots because she said I can't walk around with these big old boots. And so I had to wear nice black shoes. Okay, I froze, but I looked good.
We're going to wait reply from Tanya.
What's that?
Yeah,
we'll see if Tanya's watching. But yeah, Tanya. So you know what? I don't care what the weather's like, guys. And here's another thing, guys. I want to just throw in here because this kind of came up from the Philippines, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I'm going to tell you guys, you see this wonderful footage on here, right? And you see that there's food at the socials and stuff like that. And that's great. But guys, let me tell you, if you're going on one of our tours because you want to eat the food at the social, just stay home. Because you shouldn't be going on these tours to eat the food at the socials. You're going on these tours to meet the women, right? And you need to eat before you go. And the last thing I want you to do is be worried about the food at the socials, okay? Because someone had mentioned that the food was cold at the social. Okay, that can't possibly happen. We've been doing this for 24 years. We're dealing with the restaurants. But if you're gonna, be upset about that, or that's gonna bother you, then you shouldn't really be going on the tours. I don't want that. Now, the person that did this is wonderful, and there's other reasons that he had, and it's great, and I really have actually a lot of respect for him, and it's wonderful, and I'm not saying anything bad about him, so please. But what I'm saying in general, and I actually talked about this with him, is you really want to be focused on the reason you're there, and that's to meet these wonderful women. And we try to make the environment as nice as possible for these women. So we supply food and drinks and try to make it really, really good. Sometimes, they do a great job with it, and sometimes, the hotel may not do as great a job as we want them, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is that we're putting the effort out there to make them happy so they'll stay as long as possible while you're there, right? So you can meet them. Because if there's 350 of them and 40 of you, some of them might leave earlier because they may not even be able to see you and see that they might be realized. So we try to do these kind of fun things. We try to make it very enjoyable for them while you're getting the opportunity to go and meet them. So when you're on one of these tours, we want you to be a lean, mean dating machine. That means that before you go to this social, yeah, you see food there, but it's really more intended for the women, guys. We want you to eat before you go to the social. We want you to be well hydrated. We want you to be well rested. We want you to be just ready to go on, 150 or 300 mini dates and not be thinking about, I want to get over to that buffet. That's not why you're going on this tour, okay? Please. And talk to the staff about it. If you're hungry and you really need to eat something, you didn't get a chance, and you see something, just go talk to the staff and they'll get you some food off. Take a 10-minute break, go outside, eat, but then go to those tables and be doing what you need to do there. And you were at the socials, right?
Yeah, I don't remember myself eating there. I mean,
even you, yeah.
I don't remember guys eating also, so we've been drinking
it's about
for
meeting.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah, you like some drinking. And there's food there too, but it's more like appetizers, stuff like that. We want you to
I remember it was
actually
food, but I don't remember anybody eating it. So
no,
maybe.
it's about meeting.
Yeah,
it's about that. That's what we want it to be about. All right. Let's see. Let's go here. Sly says, I'd go K1 to make sure she's cool with living in a van down by the river. Yeah, Sly, if you live in a van down by the river, you want to make sure that she's good with that, right? And I know you're being facetious there, but if you're a truck driver, I've had truck drivers who say, I would love her to be able to drive the country with me and see the sights and everything in the truck, but it's a different kind of lifestyle. Is she going to be good with that? That's fine. Let's see. And if you tell her about it before she comes over and she's excited about it and she really wants that kind of lifestyle, and then when she gets here and she experiences that lifestyle and doesn't really like it like she thought she might have, then the K1 visa is probably a good idea for her to see what that's like. See how this works? So Sly, you bring up a good point. I appreciate that. All right. So Jesse, where does AFA find all of the women who have profiles on their website? Are the women looked down upon in their countries for joining a marriage site? Were you looked down into Russia for joining a marriage site, Dina?
No, so from friends, I think usually the girlfriends then, I found, look at that and check that out. So yeah, my friend brought me to a foreign affair. So
word of mouth?
There was no internet back there. Everything comes from friends. Back there. So yes. And now it's so easy, girls looking on marriage sites online, so I think.
Okay, yeah, we do. Women can find out about us by social media, but still a lot of it is, like Dina said, word of mouth. Because we've been so successful over the last 24 years. We've helped so many couples come together and meet and marry. That's important. See all that food? You missed all that food when you were there.
Exactly.
See?
Look at, I just want to say that before nobody met online. It was so rare. Now we have so many sites where you meet online. Even in the same city, girls and boys meeting online. So it's really popular now. But before, of course, it comes from friends, check it out. So
Okay.
it was like that. Now it's really, often, even in same city, surprising. So
All right. Let's keep going here. But so now, because it's so common, do you think that there is any kind of a stigma for a woman who joins an international dating site, say in Ukraine or Colombia or someplace?
it's really, how you say, not a new thing. I mean,
Okay.
everybody meeting online now.
So it's natural.
Everybody, natural. Yes, what I'm gonna say, natural.
Okay. All right. Even international. It's
Yes,
still natural. Okay.
of course.
Good.
Yes,
All right.
international, domestic, doesn't matter.
So Dean wants to know, hi guys, what happens if you meet someone and want to live in their country? What's the visa process? By the way, I'm from New Zealand. Cheers. Great. So so guys, we've had that happen, right? So we've had many men who have moved to Costa Rica, to Colombia, Peru, places like that. And it's the visa process for every country, Ukraine, Russia, whatever it is going to be a little bit different for you to go there. But I will tell you, for the vast majority of women, they're totally open for you living with them if you can still do everything you need to do, right? So
Yes. I don't think he need a visa. I don't know. I think you can live there for 6 months and then you just go to embassy and just say, I'm gonna live like more, like.
you
not
can.
sure.
It depends on
Yeah.
what country you're in and how you can do it. Ukraine, I know you can be there for 6 months and you can leave, but then you can't come back right away. But you can actually get visas, and if you get married, you can get visas to stay there, right? Because you're now a spouse, so it's kind of a
Yeah.
reverse thing going on.
Yeah, after marriage, yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Before.
You can even get citizenship in some
Yeah.
of these countries. It just depends on how you want to do it and how it works. So that's a very specific question for the country that you finally decide that you're going to go to. So once you get to that point, Dean, then you can call and talk to us, or you can do some more research online. But it's really not that complicated. And I think it's great. Imagine the horizons that it opens for you when you go to live in a different country and the things you see, the people you meet. It's just amazing. David says, are there any Chongqing tours in the works or only clubs for that area of China? Right now, Dave, only clubs for Chongqing. It's just difficult for us to do all these different tours in all these different areas that we do. We do so many different tours. I mean, there's nobody that even comes close to what we do. But it is difficult, even for us, to do all these different tours and all these different destinations. Thus, we had to dial it back just a little bit in China. We used to do the group tours to Chongqing, and they were very successful. But now we're just in Shenzhen. But we still can assist you with a club in Chongqing. Okay. Let's keep going here. Marshall wants to know, what are the feelings in Ukraine towards firearms? I like to hunt and wonder how Slavic women react to a man with a few rifles. What do you think, Dina, if a man has a few rifles and a bazooka and some grenades? No, I'm just kidding. Just a few rifles. What do you think?
Woman react. Okay. That hunting is really, natural thing there too. So I don't think they'll react any, bad reaction going to be. No, I think it's normal thing. Guys hunting there, so
Some women
that's
might
really
be.
popular thing.
Is it
so-
popular? So-
Yeah, yeah.
No, you killed Bambi type stuff. They're not going to worry about that.
No, more like javelinas.
We have javelinas,
So-
guys. Actually, they're from the rodent family. They're these big things that look like
moose.
big rats, and they walk around. Yeah.
It's more moose and javelina. It's not a javelina. It's more like pig, a wild pig, I
Right,
think.
right.
But it's really natural there, so I don't think she'll be surprised about it.
We have a big game hunter that's going to the tour in Odessa. I just talked to him today, and he's on his way to the tour in a couple days to Odessa. And he said that when he's not working, he does these big game hunts around. So yeah. Ross says down under is an acceptable term. Oh, thank you so much, Ross. For some reason I was saying that. I'm like, I hope I'm not like offending like a whole country right now. But if that's an acceptable term, then that's fantastic. I will continue to use it. Thank you so much. You never know these days. I like to be careful. All right. Hello, John and Dina from Mark. How can you tell if a woman from the Philippines is attracted to you?
That's like any other girls, how you can tell a girl attracting to you. Her face, how she smiles, her body language, like everything. It's the same.
It's the
Same for
eyes.
every girl.
It's the eyes. The
yeah.
eyes get you.
Yeah.
I knew Tanya was telling me at the social, guys. I was at the social, right? I walked up to her. I'm thinking she's the most beautiful woman in the world. You know, my palms are sweaty. My heart's beating. I'm all nervous, right? Because I was single. I was at one of our socials 22 years ago. And I walked up to her table and I looked at her and I said, oh, I'm so happy you're here. And she just looked at me and said, I'm just here because my friends dragged me here because I had a bad day in real estate and I just came here to dance, be with my friends and drink champagne. Okay, those were coming out of her mouth. Those words were coming out of her mouth. But her eyes said something else, right? And you've got to be able to read those little bit of signals, right? I read her eyes, and to me, her eyes said, I'm saying this, but I might be interested, right? And so I came back only because of the way her eyes looked. And if I didn't read those eyes, if I just believed what was coming out of her mouth, then I would have never married her. I would have never had the 2 wonderful children that we have and all that. So sometimes, guys, you got to be able to read the body language like Dina's talking about. And it's, you know, a flip of the hair, the eyes,
Yeah,
a
you
smile,
will know.
a wink.
Yeah.
Maybe not even a wink. A wink is too
flirting.
much. But a little bit of flirting, a little bit of,
Flirting.
you know, like Tanya was like, oh, I'm not here to meet anybody. But she looked at me.
Yeah.
There was something there. But sometimes guys just take that totally literal. There was a couple that went, they met, they were wonderful. It was one of our executive couples. And they went to Dominican for a week, right? And they came back. And they called Tanya, and the man, who was a doctor, wonderful doctor, said, you know, it was great, but I'm just not really sure she's that interested in me. I really like her, but I never got any signals. I never got any signs that she was really, you know, wanted me to like take the next step or move forward. And Tanya's like, well, let's see, you know, and I'll talk to her. So then the woman called, and Tanya talked with the woman. And the woman's like, I really like him, but I tried to give him so many different signals, so many different signs, and you know, he just didn't seem to really reciprocate. So I'm thinking maybe he doesn't. I mean, I tried to get him to give me a massage. I told him my back really hurt, and if he could massage, and all he did was just give me a little massage, like a doctor. And you know, and then Tanya said, you know, she was asking for massages. She goes, is that what that meant? So things like that. It's just sometimes we don't connect. You know, we're trying to give each other the signals, but we don't connect sometimes, right? And so that's what Dina's talking about.
Yeah,
How
guys,
will you
pay
know?
attention to little
Yes.
signals too. So
Yeah, it's like if
I
guys.
don't need, yeah, I just don't need that she'll go and tell you, oh, okay, I like you, so let's do like another. No, sometimes she'll just smile, look
It's
at you.
gonna be those signs,
Sometimes
yeah.
she cannot tell you first that thing that she likes you, so
Because
she's
it-
waiting from you first.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she will flirt, you know, smile, and you know, stay with you for like more than with, you know, other guys talking to you more often. Maybe come back to you, you know.
You'll know.
You will know.
And you got to read
Just pay
those signs.
attention.
Read those signs. There's I don't know if you guys, I'm kind of like a Seinfeld kind of guy from way back when, so I watched them all. But there was one great Seinfeld episode where George was on this date, and it was the end. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and the date asked him up for coffee. And George's like, no, I got to get up in the morning. Coffee, no. And then all of a sudden, someone's telling him, she invited you up for coffee? You know coffee's not really coffee. And George, oh my God, coffee's not really, I thought coffee was coffee. Coffee's not really coffee. And then he calls her and he leaves this crazy message like, I'm sorry, you invited me for coffee. I thought you meant coffee. You know, and you know, it's crazy. If you know Seinfeld, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'm sorry, you just wasted 15 seconds of your life because yes, you don't get that reference. But all right, I'm dating myself because probably not that many people are watching Seinfeld anymore. Let's see. Mark says, I would say the K1 visa this way, you have the chance to explore life together before you get married. I totally agree.
Absolutely.
I like
yes.
that. There's Joe and Anna and everyone at the Social in Odessa, which is coming up on Friday. We'll be doing another one. Seems like we just keep doing these over and over and over again. It's so cool, giving so many people the opportunity to meet. Okay, Jose is saying K1 visa. He's saying, is this a video in Peru? Wow, these ladies are beautiful. Do we have some Peru footage up there? Did we have that? I think if we, he's going to get it up here in a second. So this is not, is that Peru? No, that's not Peru. I'm like,
that's
wait, that's
Ukraine.
not Peru. Yeah, it's like, but he's gonna get some Peru footage up here, I think, here in a minute. Let's see. All right. Does that mean you're hired? We're always hired. You never know. Come send in your resume. We're always doing stuff. Also, I think the K1 for sure. Cool. All right. Sorry about that, John. This is Ernest. A buddy of mine that I told AFA about read the question from the site to me as I was chefing it up in the kitchen with that first question. About 2 minutes after he typed my answer for me, I was flipping some Wagyu beef. Don't be talking about Wagyu beef, Ernest, because my wife will go crazy about the Wagyu beef. She loves Wagyu beef. Ribeye steaks. He admitted to me that he thought a K1 visa was just a temporary visitor's visa. That's why my first answer seemed off. It was about a spousal visa versus getting her a visitor's visa. Oh, now I understand. That is true confusion. He has been informed that his personal assistance services are no longer required. Food is so much better than a bird still stuck in the egg. You're hilarious, Ernest. You're a funny guy. You're going to do great over. You know why? Because you've got a great personality. You've got that kind of just, you laugh at things, you have fun, and that's what's so important when you're on these tours. You've got to be able to laugh at yourself and have fun. Uh-oh, Tanya's responding.
Aww.
She's watching. John, so
Here's
chimichanga
that.
for dinner? Question mark. Tanya, you know my chimichanga, culinary experience takes time. We have to do all the planning. We got to get the right beef and pork and all the stuff. It takes days. So no, not for dinner tonight. I'll buy you one someplace, but I can't cook it tonight. You know that. All right. Armando, does anyone know the new visa rules changing coming in October 15th? No, I don't, but I don't think they have anything to do with the fiancé visa on October 15th. It may be visa rules with tourist visas or things like that, but I've not heard anything about the fiancé visas. Any chance of another seminar in the UK in 2020? I think so. You know, the first seminar we did in London this July, I think it was, when we were there, was absolutely amazing. One of the guys that was in that seminar, that very seminar in the UK, in London, is now going to be on the tour to Odessa Nikolaev this week. I just talked to him today, and he's going. And that was because he went to that seminar in London. So yes, I think we will go to another seminar in London. That was wonderful that he was there. And yeah, that's so cool. So, and you guys in the UK are so friendly, so warm, so friendly, so polite. The UK people are so polite. The British,
They are.
so polite. And that was just really, really cool. So yeah, except that I got a parking ticket while I was there, and they're still trying to come after me here in the United States.
Politely.
I think politely. They're very nice. You, sir, owe this money. And it was at the seminar because I parked the car where I thought I could, and of course I came out and I had this parking ticket, and now everyone's after me, so maybe they won't let me back in the country. I mean, I got to probably pay that. All right. I get banned everywhere. Everywhere I go, they want to ban me. Is there an IMBRA-style check in the UK like there is in the US? Not that I'm aware of, actually. I mean, we do the IMBRA for everyone, no matter where they come from, right, what country. But I don't think that the UK has an IMBRA requirement. I think the US is the only country I know of that has that kind of requirement. I know the Philippines, when a woman is leaving the Philippines to marry someone, they have to go through special classes, and that gives them information about where they're going, what to do if they get involved in a spousal abuse situation, things like that.
Well, maybe he mean if he has to do IMBRA if he is from UK.
Well, he does have to do IMBRA if he's from the
Yes,
UK, if he's working with us, because we do it for whoever. But I don't think the UK has it themselves. All right. And then we have David who says, John, just an idea. I want to spend my time at the social speaking with age-appropriate ladies, which is very wise, David, very good. Maybe you could put a big ink mark on their foreheads, different colors for different ages. David, I know you're being facetious because I know you're a wonderful guy. That's pretty funny. But of course, we're not going to do that. You know what we used to do, David, though, which is pretty funny? You might remember this because you've been to several of our events, is we used to put big red dots on women who didn't speak English.
Oh,
Did you get a red dot?
No.
Do you remember that?
No,
Okay.
I don't remember that.
We used to do
No,
that.
it's just nice.
And then yellow dots on women whose English was so-so, and green dots on women who spoke English. And we thought that was just the coolest, wisest, smartest thing to do until one day I'm looking around at these like dots and I'm thinking, this is really like insulting. This is like classes, you know? Then I started putting red dots on all the guys because their English sucked. And so that kicked at them, but red dots on you guys and me because my English is no good. And then we just did away with the dots altogether because we didn't want to create these like classes of people, right? So we got rid of those. But David, that's pretty funny. I got to hand it to you. All right. And yes, we do have a lot of Davids writing in. You're right. Guys, we are just about done. I think we got most of your questions. If we missed you today, I'm sorry. You can always give us a call tomorrow, and you can ask for Dina. And guys, if you ever want to get some more private help, Dina is here every day. You can come in and see her. You can take her to lunch. She will go out for, no, I'm just kidding. But you can call and you can talk with Dina, and she'll give you some really good advice if you need that, right? So, if you need a little extra help, you can email her, you can call, and I'm sure that she can give you some extra advice. You'd be willing to do that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you did have, I remember you had a gentleman that came in and he just wanted to talk to you about his experience in Kiev. I remember that. You gave him some really good advice.
Yeah.
Dina will be more than happy to do that. I'll be happy to do that. Any of our staff here will be happy to do that. So anytime you need that extra help, we're there to help you. And guys, we try to be fun on the show. I don't want to offend anybody, but the things that we say in love. We say because we're trying to help you to get from point A to point B, right? And so sometimes we may be pushing you a little bit, but sometimes it takes a little bit of push, especially if you come to one of our seminars. We're going to talk about lots of things, and we're really going to try and help you understand that this is just a trip, it's just a vacation, it's just an opportunity to go over and meet these wonderful women and see if something's going to happen for you, all right? Worst case scenario, you're going to have one of the best experiences of your life. I really believe that. I've been saying that for 24 years, and every time I go over, I see it. And I'm looking at some of the faces in this video. I know some of these guys, and it's fantastic, right? So it's hard to have a bad time at one of these events. It's so much better than going on some solo vacation, just on your own, one of those type things. This is just on so many different levels, so much more efficient, effective, and fun. So all I can tell you guys is get off the edge, stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game and have fun. It's going to be a blast, All right. So Dina, thank you again. I really appreciate you doing this and giving us all your advice and your wisdom.
Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah. All right, guys, until next Monday will be our next show, I guess. So until next Monday, be safe out there, and we'll talk to you then.
Good night.